So, you want to play Tekken.
If you know anything about fighting games, then you probably heard someone say that Tekken is too hard. And for good reason. I mean, look at this.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Showing something like that to anybody trying to get into any sport or hobby would freak him out a little bit. And for good reason. This looks insane. With the release of Tekken 8, many people are thinking about picking up the game, including me. Hi, I'm Nathan. But you can call me really mediocre at fighting games. But in this video, I am going to prove or disprove that Tekken is too hard. How, you might be asking? Well, I'm going to play Tekken for 1 month straight to see how good I can get at the game and see how much more I have to learn by the end of that month. This is my Tekken 8 journey. That sucks. I should rewrite that. Yeah, I'm wearing a freaking Garfield shirt and like booty shorts. But this is my goddamn home. I can wear whatever I want. Before we get into the first week, there's probably a few things I should explain about how Tekken as a game works.
Tekken is very different from most other fighters because games like Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, and Mortal Kombat take place on a 2D plane. Tekken takes place on a 3D plane. Games similar to that are Soul Calibur, Virtual Fighter, and I don't know, like the Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Spirit Fighter. The beauty and simplicity of Tekken is that each limb is represented by a single button. Left punch is 1, right punch is 2, left kick is 3, right kick is 4. Pretty simple. And finally, there are 4 ways to open up your opponent for attacks. You can punch or kick high, you can attack mid, or you can decide to go low. And if they block all of those, you can go for a throw or a grab. Highs can be ducked or standing blocked. Lows can either be jumped over or they have to be low blocked. And mids cannot be low blocked and must be standing blocked. It's like sidestepping and all that other stuff, but this isn't a tutorial. This is a case study. Anyway, let's get to week 1.
I spent the first day just trying to figure out who I wanted to play. I tried Reina, and she's intense. But she just seemed too complicated for a beginner like myself. I just wanted someone a little more simple. So I tried Steve, I tried Elisa, I tried a few other people, and none of them really seemed to fit all that well. But then, I stumbled across someone who has, unfortunately, become my favorite character. It's unfortunate because this person has been described as the white bread of this game.
If you main Asuka, people often forget you exist.
If you play Asuka, stop begging for buffs and just pick someone else.
Normally, Asuka is a very easy character.
I have one question and one question only for Asuka fans. Do you people even exist? I mean, I've been playing Tekken 8 consistently since it dropped, and I have yet to run into one-on-one.
I be forgetting this character exists sometimes, but she's borderline easiest, if not second easiest in the game.
I don't see this character like being as problematic as some others.
But like, when I fight Asuka, it's just like, I'm not really afraid of this character.
She has absolutely nothing fucking going on.
I am an Asuka Kazama man. You know those videos that are like, what your insert game main says about you? And they say like, oh, you're a cool guy and you probably pick up chicks and eat Doritos and whatever. And then there's ones that are like, you're stinky and you probably shit yourself. You know how much it hurts to just get told that like you're just boring? So I practiced up on Asuka, kind of learned how her moves worked, and I headed into ranked. And oh dear God, when I tell you I was mashing might honestly be an understatement. I was pressing like damn near 30 buttons, and the time it would take for one move to finish. Every single bad habit that you can think of in a fighting game, I was doing that. Mashing. Wake up rage arts. Just being an all-around silly goofball. You name it, I was doing it. But despite my aggressive mashing and losing my first 2 ranked matches, I was having fun. And also, there wasn't a rank that was lower than I already was. I was literally at the bottom. Each day I would keep a notes app folder and just sort of log all of my strengths and weaknesses throughout this month just to make tracking this a lot easier. And one thing I noticed I particularly struggled with is that if someone just decided after I knocked them down to just lie there and not do anything, I would freeze up. I didn't know what to do. Usually in a lot of fighting games, when you get knocked down, your character kind of automatically gets back up. But in Tekken, there's a slew of options you can choose from to kind of mix up your opponent even on the defense, including to just lie there and choose not to get up. And it's a strategy that is pretty viable in a lot of instances. So after identifying a few issues, I headed to the lab and I hammered out a few of those problems. And when I returned to ranked, I felt like a champ. I was winning more. Not only was I winning more, I felt like I was winning more confidently. I felt like I was winning better. I felt like my aggression was unbeatable. And then I realized something that's kind of important to fighting games. I wasn't blocking. You know, the thing that keeps you from taking damage? Yeah, I just wasn't doing it. And you want to know the most embarrassing part about all of it? Tekken has a neutral block. So if you just don't press any buttons, you'll block most attacks. And sure, I blocked like a few attacks, but I wasn't blocking with any real purpose. And just to make it worse, Tekken allows you to see a graph of all of your combat stats, to see what areas you're good at, what areas you could improve on. And when I looked at the defense category of mine, my entire defense category was D. Most stats, if you just play the game, will improve. But my defense was so bad that I have damn near a failing grade in. Frustrated, I headed back into the lab, worked on my defense, and before I knew it, week 2 had already arrived. Week 2 apparently started off pretty hot. I made it all the way to Warrior without any real issue. However, now is where the real grind begins. You see, prior to reaching this rank, losing a match did not equate to a loss in any ranked points, meaning a demotion. But moving forward, that's an entire different story now, which means I'm going to be facing bigger and badder opponents with even bigger and better ways to combat my bag of tricks. Not only did I need to keep working on my defense, but I also saw that I didn't know really when to attack after I was done blocking. Which brings us to our next topic, punishing an opponent. Let's briefly talk about frame data. This is a topic that transcends all fighting games. Every move in a fighting game is measured by a singular unit known as a frame. For example, Asuka's fastest move is her 1, or her jab. That ability takes 10 frames for it to start and end. Pretty simple, right? Now this is where it starts to get a little complicated, so just stick with me. If that jab connects and I hit the person, pow, right in the kisser, baby. If it connects, it would of course, on my opponent's side, trigger a animation of them taking damage, right? An animation that will oftentimes take longer for them to recover from than me. So I can wind up another one of these bad boys. In the instance of Asuka's jab, as you can see, I have 9 extra frames to do whatever I want with. For those 9 frames, my opponent can't block, they can't attack, they can't move, they can't do nothing. However, let's say the attack doesn't land, and my opponent blocks it. Again, using Asuka as an example, if I attack and they block it, it would then take longer for me to recover than for the opponent. In this example, I would be exactly -2 frames, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm -2, and let's say my opponent decides to throw out a jab too, which is also 10 frames, and I throw out mine at the exact same time. Since I have 2 frames that I'm lagging behind, and they just have 10 frames, they win 100% of the time. Now, back to back to puberty, I guess. Back to the topic at hand of punishing. So if an opponent throws out an ability that I know is -15 on block, so if I block it, that means they're 15 frames negative. I could then throw out a 15 or 14 frame move to fuck them up, you know? Give them the old razzle-dazzle, if you will. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. Week 2. So I watched a few YouTube videos and really started to get a good grasp on punish, how to punish an opponent. And I got pretty decent at finding and identifying appropriate times to punish an opponent after blocking. And the more and more I practice, the less and less I did ranked. And I just sort of stuck to doing casual quick play matches. Could it be that I was afraid that the idea of attaching a metric unit, like a rank, to how good I've gotten through my practice scared me? And just doing casual quick plays just felt more comforting, knowing that whether win or loss, I'm not seeing that metric number. But what am I, a fucking therapist? Let's go to week 3.
Still taking a break from ranked, I was entirely focused on cementing the ideas from the previous week further into my playstyle. So blocking, punishing, and just being more overall mentally present during a fight. I decided to play a few matches and not worry about attacking and just entirely work on blocking and sometimes punishing the opponent. And I think a few people took that as me being toxic. I was just practicing. The more I fought against other players with the sole intention of observing their characters' movesets and what they did, the more I kind of began to notice something. Something that really began to make my loyalty as an Asuka main waver. Okay, that grab is literally unbreakable. I don't see how I was supposed to even remotely escape that. My dumbass just fell for that. He was charging that up for like 30 seconds. It was a dark time in my Tekken journey. Okay, alright, you can clearly see my foot connect, yet it misses. And then his punch connects and Jesus walked in the desert for 40 days and was tempted by the devil. Yeah, of course. Here we go. All right. Break. But I played Tekken ranked for 30 days and was tempted by something far, far worse. I'm having you twice the amount of work as you to get a single win, and you just show up and just mash buttons. Around week 3, I really began to notice all the cool stuff everyone else did and how hard it felt like I was working for a win versus everyone else. It was some hard cope. This was the hardest I've ever coped in my entire life. It was brutal, all right? I danced with the idea of entirely changing my Tekken main, never to pick up Asuka Kazama again. Switching to June was the obvious choice because her moveset is so similar to Asuka's. To go from the person that says you're carried by your main to the person who was carried, it was almost intoxicating. As I labbed out June's moveset, the temptation grew louder. It was like a symphony blaring through an amphitheater. But then, I had another thought. I realized something. If I switched mains every time I was met with any sort of skill wall, then I would be forever doomed to mediocrity and never truly master a character. And frankly, my problem wasn't with Asuka. It was the fact that people were just able to read me easier, which is a skill issue. And then I realized something else. Holy shit, it's been a week and a half, and I only have like 4 days left in the month to play ranked for this video. Okay, all right. I have very heavy hair. This is as good as it'll look.
My training in week 3 really paid off. I felt a lot more confident. I felt better. I felt like I was my goal of being more present in a fight I feel like I had really achieved that. If a player could handle my really aggressive playstyle, I would then just switch to a more defensive option and sometimes still beat them. And despite not doing ranked for like a week and a half, I still really did appreciate my time in quick play because it gave me a wider range of players to go up against. And also, on my first day back from ranked, I encountered my first plugger, which, if you don't know, essentially it's just a person that rage quits. And I felt so good when they DC'd. Moving through the yellow ranks was tough, but I finally made it to Dominator, the very edge of yellow. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this was an incredibly competitive rank for me. I felt like every time I would push a little bit further into the rank, I would lose a whole bunch and then get knocked back, and then I would just be this awful pattern of pushing halfway through, being pulled back to almost the beginning, almost being demoted a few times. And then came the final night. There was less than a couple hours left. The game was about to go on maintenance, and it was my last night of the month. And I was so close to reaching Vanquisher, the next rank, orange rank. I loaded into the match, hoping it was going to be an easy dub. And then...
Get ready for the next battle.
Fuck. It was Yoshimitsu. I don't understand what that goofball is doing. He just sort of spins around, slashes me with the sword, and then like sometimes kills himself and also me in the process. But before we get into the round, let me just do a quick costume change real quick. Alright. Welcome everybody to the finals of Nathan's Mediocre Rank. I'm your host. The first match started off hot with Yoshimitsu lying out an overwhelming barrage of attack. After finally catching a break, I try to bait out a whiff by using my heat engage, but he does not take the hook. After overcoming that brutal thrashing in the start, I was able to make a slight comeback, but a whiff combo led to a devastating punish, and round 1 goes to player 2. Round 2 ended in another loss, with more of the same sloppy play on my end, with my opponent easily capitalizing on my flaws. Round 3 though, I was done beyond the defense, and I came out of the gate swinging. He wasn't able to keep up with the mix-ups and ended up cornered with nowhere to go with my first victory in the match. Skip all the boring blows beforehand. Round 4 ends with a very sloppy and desperate rage art from Yoshimitsu, then ended with a punish, and this game going to final rounds. Once again, Asuka coming out of the gate swinging that risky elbow. He blocks the can-cans, ending Asuka's turn and bringing the fight back to Yoshi's side. But he wasn't able to follow up, everybody, tumbling into a brutal onslaught of mix-ups, making it so Yoshimitsu has to guess on where the next hit will come. The first match going to me. Yeah, this feels weird commentating and talking about myself in third person. But now we're in the nerve-wracking territory because the next match is a promotional match with tensions high and the stakes even higher. For an orange rank promotional match, we move on to game 2. Round 1 starts off hot with Asuka immediately taking the offensive, but that aggression turned on its back as Yoshimitsu was able to quickly readjust. But Yoshimitsu has made a bad habit of overextending, leading to heavy damage. Stuck with nowhere to go once again, he's desperately trying to pull off a cheeky rage art, but it was blocked. But after a questionably timed rage art on my end, round 1 surprisingly goes to Yoshimitsu. Round 2 starts off strong with a quick launch from can-cans. Fast forwarding to the last moments of the match where the real highlight begins. An easy to execute combo was dropped, leading to a down-to-the-wire slow-motion replay, but Yoshimitsu's attack connects first, and round 2 goes to player 2. Round 3 begins with a series of quick neutral jabs with no follow-ups, hoping to bait out some mashing from the opponent, a successful plan that paid off, earning the first win for Asuka in the second match. But will this luck continue? Find out after a break. No, I'm just fucking kidding. Round 4 starts. Asuka comes out swinging, chunking half of the opponent's health in the first 9 seconds. But Yoshimitsu is quick to return the favor, evening the score. In a final desperate attempt and probably a little bit of mashing, Asuka was able to stay in the game,
once again going to final round. I'm having a lot of fun doing this voice. I don't know if y'all can tell. Round 5 starts off with both players on the defense backing up, looking to gauge the other opponent's plan. But it's Yoshi that lands the first hit. However, that did not last long after an iron wall defense from Asuka turns into a booming punish. This match looks like it's about to come to its close with yet another win under Asuka's belt and a rank up. But in a last-ditch effort, Yoshimitsu was able to find an opening and quickly throw out one of those rage arts, ending the match and potentially ending the chance for Asuka to rank up for this video. Before we head into match 3, let's get a quick halftime recap. Whew, I'm a little out of breath. Asuka has just been laying out this overwhelming aggression against the Yoshimitsu. It seems if she gets on you, she's gonna stick, and it's really hard to get her off. This is why I'm not a sports commentator, because that sounded... But her overextending has made her an easy target. Plenty of risky moves leading to some awful turnarounds on her end. With Yoshimitsu in that last round with that rage art could be chalked up to luck, but a dub is a dub. Asuka should have been monitoring his health, obviously, being able to see that he has been throwing those out all match and would be willing to throw that out in the final round for a quick win. What do you think of this match so far, Tom? I'm alone, I just realized. With the third match now underway, I thought my chances of ranking up were long gone. But as soon as the match started, I saw I still had a chance. With adrenaline pumping, the final match starts with a powerful start to the round, but Yoshimitsu's shell was tough to crack. Luckily, Asuka started to get the read on Yoshi and was able to see through his habits of using slow and risky moves. Asuka deciding to bring the fight straight to the opponent, running up and timing a backflip, securing the victory, baiting out an easy counter. Round 2 kept with the same strategy, with the backflip kept in the back pocket. He was able to survive, throwing out blow after blow. But when it came down to it, none of the ones that mattered were able to connect, ending with the tables once again staying unturned. A completely different story from the previous 2 matches, now going 2-0 into the third round. Yoshimitsu, hungry not to give up the win that easily, blocks the opening elbow that's been such a strong start and completely has player 1 on the ropes with Asuka's health bar plummeting. But a moment presented itself and she was able to block and punish Yoshimitsu with barely a second on his feet. Follow-up after follow-up. Yoshi is completely on his back with nowhere to turn and a chance to fight back. With his last breath, he throws out one last desperate rage art, hoping to catch Asuka slacking. But she read him like a book with a quick 15-frame punish already in the chamber. The final match comes to a close with Asuka finally reaching orange rank. The nerves are electric here tonight. You can see the stock footage crowd that I put in here. Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience. I'm Pat my behind. Good night. So after playing this game for a month straight and having over 100 hours logged on the game, I think I can fairly and justly answer the question, is Tekken hard? Yes, it is a difficult game. By design, this game was meant to be difficult. But is it too hard? No. You don't need to know every move that your character has. You just need 5, 10 moves that you can mix up and feel confident that your opponent will not be able to predict. And when you're presented with a new situation that you don't have an answer for, because that's all fighting games are, it's just problem solving. So when you are met with a new problem that you don't have a solution for, you learn a new move that you really only need in that situation. And it slowly builds up over time, and voila, you've learned all the moves. When I started out, my stats looked something a little bit like this. And now, I'm pretty proud they look like this. And sure, a lot of these stats were just gonna grow over time, but I'm really proud of how my defense stat improved, because that's something I've always kind of struggled with fighting games, is just blocking and not being overwhelmingly aggressive. And hell, I'm still learning stuff. I played this game fucking daily still. I really like this game, and I'm gonna keep playing it. So I highly encourage anybody to pick up this game. Don't buy the fucking battle pass. It sucks. Just don't bother. Also, this is really important. Please stick around just for a second. This is really important. If you all go down the description, there are a ton of resources of other channels that I use to kind of learn how to play this game. They are incredible resources to learn how to play not just Tekken, but just fighting games in general. Please check them out. Leave them a subscription. What am I, the fucking newspaper? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you thought this video was cool. Subscribe. I don't make Tekken content. I make video essays, so subscribe if you like video essays. Maybe I'll stream Tekken one day. No promises. And I guess I'll see y'all later. Also, sorry for being gone for a year and a half. My bad.